Oh my gosh, what are we doing? I don't know. Hey everyone, this is Travis Licata, and I am back with another Whiny Parent podcast where I'm talking all about Survivor Season 40 Winners at War. Uh, it's another interesting episode. I would say my least favorite of the season so far, but still entertaining. So thank you for joining me. I will go over a few highlights, prediction for next week. First, I will go into a draft update. Megan and I started a draft at the beginning of the year. She is just destroying me. It's just embarrassing. It's what it is. She earned another point this week with Sophie finding an idol. Um, Sophie and Boston Rob, they both tied with confessionals, six apiece, so there weren't any points there. Uh, Sophie on Megan's team, Boston Rob's on my team. Um, but at this point, I'm looking at second place in a two-team race. so, um, so Megan's team, just to recap, her team was Danny, Yule, Wendell, Kim, Ben, Sophie, Ethan, Nick, Sandra, and Adam. My team, Jeremy, Tyson, Michelle, Boston Rob, Parvati, Natalie, billionaire Natalie, Amber, Denise, Tony, and Sarah. Uh, Megan has seen Danny and Ethan voted out, and I've seen four players: Tyson, Boston Rob, Natalie, and Amber. Uh, so it's pretty much a one sided affair so far. Megan's team, which is anything you can do, I can do better, is now at 4 points. While my team, my wife is right, I'm still at -1 point. Not even at zero. Yeah, a whole lot of this is not good. Um, so that's where we are in our whiny parent draft, and Megan is having a blast, crushing her husband. So, um, we can move on to highlights. But before we get there, I want to just talk to you about whinyparent.com. Megan and I started the Whiny Parent to share our parenting adventures and struggles. We share parenting tips, date night ideas, product recommendations, and the whole time we're doing our blog, we're hoping to provide a really just a an outlet for other parents that they can relate to. We normally produce new content on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can head to whinyparent.com and follow our blog. Once you follow our blog, new content will be sent right to you as soon as it's published. You can also connect with us, the Whiny Parent, on social media, where you can find us on Facebook and Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram, and all of our channels. That's at Whiny Parent. So that's at WINEY Parent. Okay, let's dive into a few highlights. And there's really only one true highlight of this episode, but I'm still going to go with doing three total. The first highlight is Yule opening up about Jonathan Penner and his wife Stacy. The fact that he wants to raise awareness for ALS and help raise money for research, and also the you know the Penner family being open and to share their story to try to bring awareness to ALS, to raise money for the ALS Association. I mean, that's a big deal. And so the ALS Association, CBS did an article on their site where it basically it gives a description of what the ALS Association is for anyone that's not aware, where they say, quote, the mission is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Um, so I really appreciate that Yule is playing for his friend and their family, for his friend, I guess, and their family, and trying to serve a bigger purpose. And he wants to donate, if he wins, the 2 million to that organization to build funds for research, which is it's just incredible. It's How do you not cheer for Yule this season? It's such a fantastic endeavor, and so if people want to help and donate, because it's a tax deductible donation, on CBS site they provided a link where you can visit alsa.org/survivor. Again, that's alsa.org/survivor, and this brings up a donation page. You can select a one-time gift amount of your choosing. They also have options. You can just click on the amounts if you want to do it that way. And those options were $25, $50, $100, and $150. And for anyone who wanted to make a donation more than once, they also provide an option for a monthly donation. So it's great that there's this survivor community that's coming together for such a great cause. And again, there's so much information out there. So you can go to the ALS Association, which is alsa.org, and there's a ton of information for you to find out more about ALS and the impact it has on people and what the ALS Association is trying to achieve in its mission. So that's the number one highlight. So it's hard to segue to another highlight because that's such an important topic. So I'm just gonna move on to point two, and just it's the general feeling of not enjoying this particular episode as much as the previous episode of this season, because that last segment before Tribal just seemed quite long, and the whole lockdown buddy system just wasn't interesting. It just felt like it's something that wouldn't work with these players. Like I'm watching that sequence of events, and it just seems like it's Boston Rob that's going home, right? It didn't seem like there was any other option. I mean, once the tribes swapped, it was if they lose, it's got to be Rob that's going home, right? So it doesn't, for me, it doesn't happen that often when you're watching an episode and you get that feeling like, ugh, that player is toast. Uh, Especially because more recent Survivor is all about those blind sides each and every episode. Um, but this episode did feel like, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. At least that's not something I find common with Survivor, so that's why maybe I was just a little more, man, this episode just didn't match the other episodes that we'd seen. And I don't know if Rob could have done anything to have changed their minds. Um, and then trying to lock them down just didn't seem like the right play. Um, I I'm surprised that Boston Rob was still in the game at this point. So you know, big kudos to him for making it this far. Um, it just seemed like the only way for him to survive is if he ended up with a swap of him, Parvati, Jeremy, Michelle, or some kind of combination from that original tribe. I mean, this swap was definitely like, yeah, he's going home if they lose. And they lost. Um, so my second highlight's kind of just about the lackluster vote off of Rob in that particular segment. I mean, the plus side to that whole segment is that Sophie finds an idol, and so she has that now. It's a huge thing. She's had a solid start to the season, and the fact that the swap didn't impact her, despite the fact that normally it should have, that, and along with Sarah's game as well. So they're both in great positions moving forward. So even if they go back to tribal, I feel like it's going to be Ben against Adam, um, because Sarah and Sophie, at least to what we saw, they are much tighter. So my last highlight I will mention seeing Kim in an awesome spot. She gets to choose what pair she wants to go with because it's her, Jeremy, Denise, Tony, and Sandra on the same tribe. It has to be Jeremy and Denise, right? There's no way she goes with Sandra and Tony, who I believe she said were the last two she trusted, or the last two that she never really trusted of her original tribe, the Dakal tribe. So, you know, for me, I'm like, fingers crossed we see a Jeremy, Denise, and Kim show moving forward. So, um, Kim has been in such a tough spot at the bottom this entire season. So seeing her in a place where she can make the decision to better her game is great to see. Plus, she has an idol. So super pumped. One, she has the idol, but also that notes that Sophie gave her back the other half of the idol. Big fan. I like that. So hopefully the hidden immunity idol can help Kim like further her game and help her with the deep run. And the fact that Sophie tonight said she understood Kim's dilemma, maybe the fact that Kim trusted her will actually benefit the both of them later on if they can reconnect at a merge or another swap. Um, so that's great. So Yul and the Survivor community coming together for the Penner family. That's highlight number one, obviously. Number two, the lackluster vote off with Rob and that whole sequence. And seeing Kim in a good spot, highlight number three. Prediction. So next week's challenge will come down to two teams having to sit out a plater. I wonder who the Dakal tribe will sit out. It's amazing. I mean, unless they do some type of challenge where everyone has to compete, but has that ever have they done that before where it's an uneven number? Um, I feel like the answer is yes, but I feel like next week we're just going to be seeing Sandra on the Sandra bench, and um, I guess I will say that the same tribe will go back to tribal council, and Adam goes home. Um, if his history of double dealing truly comes up with Sarah and Sophie, I don't think they'll want any part of that. Uh, I think they will rather ride with Ben than Adam. Um, because I think they would rather. I don't know. Yeah, I'll say my vote will be same tribe. Adam goes home, but who knows? The new Dakal tribe, could go to tribal next week, and you could see how many people on that tribe have an idol. Is it everyone except Tony? Like how crazy how crazy would that be if Jeremy bounced, then Denise, Kim, and Sandra play idols, and the only one left to get voted out is Tony? I mean, I doubt we're gonna see another idol get in whatever, but uh, is that how we want to see players get voted out anyway? Um, but of that tribe, oh man, if Denise and Kim and Jeremy could be on the same wavelength and make a run, that would be awesome. Uh, that's what I have for this week. Um, oh, and just a quick brag. I got last week's prediction right. Eh, didn't you know? Blue Tribe, or say I said the tribe that Boston Rob was on. If they lost, he'd go home. It happened. The whole segment was lackluster. So celebrating, woo. Okay, all right. That's enough. That's all for me this week. Thank you to everyone who has taken time to listen to me ramble and blabber about Survivor. Uh, Such a great show. It can be really fun storytelling. And thank you for listening to my dorky, or if you want to call it idiotic insights into the game of Survivor. On that plug, make sure to stay tuned each week as I'll be back again next week to cover what happens after, who knows. Will they do another swap? Will it be the same 3 tribes going back to the immunity challenge? Let's find out together, and I will see everyone next time. Okay, bye.